Welcome to the channel. My name is Steve, SuperSanka4508, and tonight we'll be looking at the Aegis Redeemer. The Aegis Redeemer has been in production since 2014, having won the last Great Starship competition held by CIG Games. If you like this content, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. If you really like it, go ahead and ring that bell for further notifications of any time a new video gets posted. This is the first in a series of ships videos, and we're going to be looking at as many of these ships as we possibly can. On the screen right now, you can see the stats for this particular ship. To note, this thing comes with all of the guns. Currently, the pilot-controlled weapons are two size 4 C788 cannons by Bearing Applied Technology. The other weapons include two size 6 man turrets with size 5 deadbolt cannons attached, two size 5 remote turrets, each with two M5A laser autocannons. It's got two size 4 missiles with 16 size 2 Strike Force 2 missiles, and your standard DEFCON noise and decoy launcher. As you can see, this vehicle is in fact real. It's actually coming to 3.15.1, and here is some in-game footage of that ship. Just a quick walk around looking at the size of the weapons on that main man turret, looking at the finer details of the ship itself. Things that I find very interesting about this particular ship is the fact that it has wheeled landing gear. This notes to the idea that this would be found on a carrier ship of some sort. Most vehicles in the game all have skids. In the terms of placing one of these skidded vehicles onto a deck of a ship, you may cause damage to the whatever coating is on top of the landing pad. With a wheeled vehicle, however, you can land and roll this thing around without much of an issue. Under power, this may be stored underneath a carrier of some sort, and when needed, it can be wheeled out and set into position. Some of the details of the ship are actually quite cool. I like the fact that all of the side panels look as if they can be replaced. Now, being a gunship, having the ability to replace armor panels and that sort of thing would be imperative to its continued function, especially after long range patrols where some of these panels may be damaged. What we're looking at now aren't wings. However, these are the vector lock thrusters. This unique thruster design enables an unprecedented amount of mass manipulation by positioning the twin nacelles at optimal locations away from the ship's center of gravity. This encompasses the benefit of increasing the overall stability of the vessel, as well as expanding the combat maneuvers available to the pilot. The nacelle-based system utilizes the exposed surface area to draw heat away from vital system parts and directly into the environment, thus minimizing possible wear and increasing overall engine performance. Couple these advances with the Redeemer's hands-on throttle and innovative flight controls, and the result is a gunship that feels and flies like nothing else. What we're looking at here is the underneath size 6 man turret with its size 5 cannons on it. They are quite imposing. Let's go ahead and get a walk of the interior ship up the rear ramp, and let's see what it looks like on the inside. On the inside, everything is covered in OD green and hazard yellow. I really like the combination of these two colors together, especially in a ship like this that's going to be seeing plenty of military service. The yellow hazard areas denote any place where two hull portions may come together and may result in a raised lip of some sort. The crew itself can see these lips and avoid them wherever possible, especially in low light conditions. Here we have enough wardrobe space for 4 crew members. We've got berthing for 4 crew members. This is the hatch that leads to the upper area. Looking at the berthing, you've got some nice little beds with nice little pillows. How they stay on in zero gravity is beyond me. Here we have one of the mainstays of most of the Aegis ships, which is a toilet shower sink combo. Nothing like having to take a poop and being able to wash your hands at the same time. Because these ships' space is at a premium in most of them, these combo units are perfect for a 4-person crewed vessel over those long patrols. The Redeemer is definitely going to fit itself into a very interesting space. Originally designed to be a dropship, this has now found itself as becoming a gunship. One of my favorite features is this lighting feature. So you can hit an emergency button, which then alerts the crew that may be sleeping at the time that something has gone wrong and everybody needs to report to their battle stations. And when you turn the lights off, the berths themselves maintain their light. Now that was a very strange combination. Like, why is it that the berths stay lit? It only took me later to notice that each berth has its own lighting control, which is very interesting, that you can have full lights like such, but then you can adjust them. So imagine crawling into bed after a long 10 or 12 hour shift in a manned turret. You want to read a book or something like that, but you don't want to disturb the rest of the crew members. You can turn on this little green light here, read your book before you go ahead and take a nap. Once you're ready to go to bed, you hit that button there and you turn the lights off. This is in the upper area of the deck. We've got 4 drop seats. Now these are pretty cool. I love the fact that these are fold away seats because, again, space is a premium on most of these battlecraft, and they need to be functional but use as little space as possible. Here we have an armory that you can place up to 4 weapons in. Couple that with the wardrobe that's in the crew bay. You've got the ability to have 4 fully outfitted individuals on the ship at any one time. Some of the smaller details that I like is that all of the places where you would put your hands in the event of you're flying in 0 gravity or the gravity fails on the ship, you'll still be able to grab those handrails because they're all rubber coated. That's something that I found was actually a really cool little detail that they didn't have in a few of the other ships. The lighting effect in the upper area is pretty cool because you can turn the lights off almost completely. That would be very, very good, especially in zero-G flight or space flight, where any light that leaks from the front cockpit could be seen from a fairly far distance away. Heading to the back of the ship, we're heading towards where the rear turret is kept. Just above is where the rear turret is kept. You have your componentry is also found in this location. Nice sliding bays allow access to those in the event that a ship component fails. When they start bringing in the engineer's gameplay, where you can repair these particular components at any one time, it'll be really cool to be able to access that and fix whatever's the problem. Now we're going to just jump into that lower turret. Now, one of the greatest things about this lower turret is the animation getting into it, which is quite intense. You hop in, you come down, and here you are, directly underneath the ship. You can see flanked on either side is a Galderine size 5 cannon. And these are laser cannons. These aren't the ballistic cannons. So you get about 60 shots. Now, 60 shots out of a size 5 is going to decimate most ships within the same class as the Redeemer, and even larger ships. I love the sound effect here. These cannons just unleashing. It's a very cool sound effect. Now we're in the rear turret. We're going to hop into that. We're going to go up and look at the range of view that you have. Underneath, you're a bit limited. You can't go directly below, but it gives you a pretty decent field of view. Whereas with this top turret, you pretty much can see all the way around the entire ship, leaving us a very small portion along the rear that is what I would call a blind spot in the turret fire from the manned turrets. We'll get into that here in a second when we start looking at the remote turrets. But as we come around the back of the ship, you can see that the weapons lift, so you don't accidentally shoot the tail of the weapon off, the tail of the ship off. And as we continue around, we're able to get a pretty decent view around the whole ship. Now, to cover some of the spaces that the manned turrets don't cover are the remote turrets. We're getting in the front remote turret now, accessing the panel that allows us to get into and control that remote front turret. There's one qualm I have with this remote front turret, and it's the fact that as we come around, we can actually place the weapons onto the manned turret. So maybe this is an oversight in the blocking for this particular weapon system. However, this is a bit of an issue, especially if you're shooting your own person in their ship. I'm really sure the person in that manned turret would not appreciate it. From here, we're going to jump into the rear remote turret. Now, the rear remote turret is mounted underneath the tail of the ship itself, slides out of a bay and into position directly at the bottom of the tail as far rearward as it can go. So that blind spot that I said that the upper turret, manned upper turret has, is pretty much covered by this remote turret. Heading into the pilot seat now. This will be the end of the walkthrough of the Aegis Redeemer. If you liked what you've seen, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. If you really liked it, hit the bell. You can catch me live on Twitch at SuperSanka4508.